I guess my question is, how much taxpayer money should go to fund drag queen story hours on military bases?
You know, drag queen story hours is not something that the department funds.
Well, wait a second. That's actually not what the record seems to suggest. You were going to fund one at Ramstein Air Force Base. That one got canceled, but that's DOD insignia. That's a drag queen story hour for children. Then also at Malmstrom Air Force Base outside of Great Falls, Montana, you had a drag queen story hour for kids. At the Joint Base Langley Eustis, you put on a drag queen story hour on a Saturday for the first ever kid-friendly Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Summer Festival. And at Nellis Air Force Base, you had the Drag You Nellis on June 17th. Who funded these things, Mr. Secretary?
Listen, drag shows are not something that the Department of Defense supports or funds. So.
But wait, why are they happening on military bases? I just showed you the evidence. Why are they happening?
I will say again, this is not something that we support or fund.
Well, so you think hosting a drag queen story hour on a military base isn't supporting the drag queen story hour?
I stand by what I just said.
But you may stand by it, but it's belied by the evidence over and over again. I mean, are you aware of the piece? Biden's military, Air Force Base in Montana holds drag show, drag queen story hour for kids in the Western Journal. Are you aware of that?
Again, I will say what I said before.
You're saying what you're saying, but I guess it just doesn't comport with the facts. General Milley, this will be my last time to question you. You mentioned 2 years ago that you wanted to better understand white rage. And so my question is this. Did you read this book?
No, not at all.
It is What is White Privilege is the book, and it's actually written by a DOD official, a senior official in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and there are now hundreds of these books in dozens of schools, and I wonder if you guys connect this to your problems with recruiting.
I've never read it, never seen it. Frankly, I don't even think about that stuff. I think about
go ahead and put up the next slide.
About the readiness of the force.
Go ahead and put up the next slide, please. Okay, well, in the next slide, this is a tweet by one of your employees in charge of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's patently racist. They say that she had to give Karen the business, that she talks about caudacity, presumably of Caucasian people. So I guess,
terrible.
Why does the...
look at it.
Well, why is that person
You're not going to get an
low?
argument from me. That's terrible. It's wrong. She shouldn't be doing that, period.
Should she be fired?
That's a DOD employee, not U.S. military uniform.
Should they be fired, Secretary Austin?
Again, as you heard in your subcommittee here, this incident was investigated and
they're still employed. Mr. Chairman, I have a series of unanimous consent requests since my time has expired.
Without objection.
First is Joint Base Langley Eustis holds drag show at kid-friendly festival. And the next is U.S. military defends drag show at largest training center as, quote, essential to morale. And the next is Nellis Air Force Base hosts first ever drag queen show, essential to morale and readiness. That's a Breitbart piece. And finally, Ramstein cancels library's drag queen story time for Pride Month following criticism.
Without objection, so ordered. Gentleman's time's expired.
Can I get copies of those? Because I'd like to take a look at those myself, actually. Take a look and find out what actually is going on there. Because that's the first I'm hearing about that kind of stuff. I don't read those news stories. I don't know what you're talking about. I'd like to take a look at those because I don't agree with those.
Well, they're now in the official record.
Shouldn't be happening. Period.
Thank you. Thank you for that admission.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. Matt Gaetz, my boy, absolutely dropping the Moab, mother of all bombs, on our woke military leaders, Lloyd Austin and Mark Milley. You will remember both of these absolute goobers as the individuals who screamed about having white rage and wanting to understand white rage. Milley maintains military is apolitical after white rage comment. Mark Milley screamed that he wants to understand white rage. Yeah, okay. You're wondering why they are having critical recruitment issues inside of the military. Both Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Mark Milley declared the U.S. military is apolitical I want America to know that the United States military is an apolitical institution, and it's really important to remain apolitical. Critical race theory is nothing that the department teaches, professes, or embraces. That's a little interesting because, well, what you have here is the Department of Defense embracing drag queens. U.S. Air Force Base in Ramstein, Germany, had to cancel a drag queen story hour for children. Now, this is being published by the Daily Mail, which is one of the most read publications in the world. And so it's a little weird that at the end of that clip, you see Mark Milley being like, I would like those articles. Please send me those articles. Those are very important to me. I mean, at least Gaetz was able to exercise a admission that this is wrong out of the two of them. Never seen anything like that. Total and complete destruction. Matt Gaetz making Florida proud. This did happen. Ramstein Air Force Base was due to hold a 30-minute drag queen story hour. Facebook post revealed the session would include drag queen. Senator Marco Rubio condemned the event and wrote, essentially getting it stopped, right? So Marco Rubio condemned the event, and he wrote the Air Force Secretary, Frank Kendall. The letter read, I urge you to immediately cancel the politically divisive event and take appropriate disciplinary actions to all of those involved in the gross abuse of taxpayer funding to place children in a sexualized environment. Yeah, duh. We're celebrating Pride Month. Drag queen story time. Man, it's a wonder why China thinks that they can defeat America militarily, truly. So our military has been a complete and total embarrassment. Face mask American military. Lloyd Austin, who's in charge of the Department of Defense, is mocked for wearing a visor in the Philippines while battle over masks rage at home. This is from a year ago or two. Look at this. People call him Darth Vader for this. He's wearing a mask plus a visor. Oh my God. These are supposed to be the people who are super duper scary and in charge. Matt Gaetz getting totally the best of these two in that exchange. And again, getting them to admit that this is wrong and that this shouldn't happen. Calling them out on it. Way to go. That's what, like, balls looks like. That's what having balls look like. I mean, people elect members of Congress. That's what the Republican Party, that's what you think the Republican Party is doing when you elect Republicans. Unfortunately, most of these guys, just much like Lloyd Austin, are just spokespeople for the industries that fund them. Lloyd Austin, the military-industrial complex. More money to Ukraine! Matt Gaetz calling them out on it is absolutely beautiful, especially in this moment when we were beginning to see how these dangerous, sick, blackened ideologies and sexualization of children can have such disturbing, horrific consequences. Way to go, Matt Gaetz, making Florida proud. It's your boy Benny, fighting with Matt Gaetz for a better America. See ya.
Thank you for watching. Our channel's here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. Their tears, they taste just like sweet, delicious ice cream. Salty, too. We ridicule the establishment and the libs because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you like what you saw, please punch the subscribe button, click like, and ring the little bell so that you know when we're live. Don't you want to know when we're live? And make sure that you subscribe to our email list just in case the plug gets pulled, as tends to happen. If you want to see more of our videos, click here or here. My name is Benny Johnson. Stay free, base patriots.